So let's see if everyone can see and hear me. I see already several people. Welcome. I only see the chat. Oh, lots of chatting already. I only don't see any numbers in my screen. So let me know if you can see me and hear me, of course. So let's see. Oh wait, lots of chat already. But I'm always wanna uh, always wanna know for sure that you can also see and hear me, and that I'm not. Yeah, I think I now see the number, so that normally means that you can also see and hear me. So welcome Trisha, hi Mark, welcome Catherine, hi Sarah, hi Leslie, hi Tish, hi Natalie, welcome Susan. It's now going really fast. Hi Cindy. I see Trish. I see a lot of other names, I think. So sorry if I forget your name, but I think these are the most important for now. So, hi Sarah, hi everyone else, hi Rosie, also welcome. Um, it's a beautiful evening over here. So it has been for the Netherlands quite warm today. So about 30 degrees Celsius in Amsterdam. I know in the eastern part it's always then 2-3 degrees warmer. So that is, I think, 86 Fahrenheit, and that is for Amsterdam is that quite warm. So, but I'm sitting outside for the first one of the first times this year in the Netherlands that I could wear my short pants. So that's that's a little different. Hi Zina, also welcome. And of course, we're gonna start this tour in about 10 minutes from now. Um, It's I don't know exactly when I started. I think it's about 10 minutes before the tour. So and Natalie is asking if I can stand the heat, if I can stand the warmth. Yeah, I can. I can stand it quite well. Although it's always a little. If it's then happening again, then it's different. But of course, I was earlier this year, and a lot of you were joining me. I was in Florida and in the Caribbean, so it was a lot. It was a lot warmer over there than it is over here. So, but in the city, it's always the heat is staying a little longer in the nighttime. But as far as I know, I saw in the rest of the country there are a lot of thunderstorms, etc. Not over here, although the sky is a little darker now. But I think it's just missing us if everything is right. So, hi, Lethargy, also welcome. So, and just to show you, wait, I'm just gonna you know, sky at the other side. Here's a bike. I have one of my bikes here in front of me is an oldie. I don't have my blue bike today because it's under maintenance. To be honest, the one that I have right now also needs some maintenance. You will hear that later. And hi, Ronnie. But look how beautiful the sky is over here. So this is how Amsterdam is looking right now. It is almost 7:30. Almost 7:30. So and I'm on a big square over here. And I will later also tell you, of course, why that is. And Sharon, the blue bike is somewhere else in Amsterdam, but it needs some maintenance to cycle on it again. So that will be done. That will be done. But that will be. It's now high season, so I didn't have the time for that. So let me just show you again. Um, my face. You see, I'm on a big square, and I'm in the middle of Amsterdam. Although just outside of the old city center. But I'm on a nice location, I think, to start this tour in about 5 minutes from now. So let's see. Hi Tariq, also welcome and welcome in Amsterdam. It is it's really a beautiful day, and it's nice to be back with the second tour in 1 week. It has been a little longer ago, and I know a lot of you who are joining me or did see the magnet fishing, and I'm happy that I can do now and then a virtual tour again because it has been extremely busy, and it is still very busy, by the way, in the in the city. So that's good. That's good. So that means that my days are full of all kind of other things, and I sometimes have to try and to get a virtual tour in between. But for this evening, it is possible. So it's a beautiful Saturday evening, and I don't know what you're all saying about the beers, etc. But of course, this is also the time to socialize uh, before the start of the tour. And yes, and Catherine is now sharing the link. If you missed the magnet fishing tour, then it's still available. I will keep it on my YouTube channel because it is really something different, I think, than what I've been doing before. So and maybe in a month or so or longer from now, I can redo it again, and then on another location in Amsterdam, because there are lots more beautiful places, and you never know what kind of treasures there will be. There will be in the canals. So um, thank you for it's always giving me a little pressure because I'm sometimes making it a little too hard for myself that I almost all the time want to do a different tour. And sometimes I'm thinking later, like, oh, why aren't you just doing the same tour again? But I don't like that so much. I always like to do some different things, to have some different parts, some different cities, different topics. So also the one today, it was already a little longer in my mind. So and if you've done tours with me, then you have seen and heard a lot of parts of this. But I felt like, okay, it's now time to really do a tour about cycling in Amsterdam. And I think one of the first tours that I ever did, still on the ego, was also about cycling in Amsterdam. Well, that's 3 years ago. Um, so, oh, thank you, Rosie. Say hi, Anne, or Anna, or Anna, Anna. um, and yeah, the thing is, for me, I like variation. I like to do things different. It is also then sometimes it's not going that smooth because I don't know everything, or I don't know what will happen. And of course, if you have done a tour already over and over, then you can make it perfect after a while. But I'm not so from the perfect school. Let's see. There is more. Um, Yeah, and I think we're going on a bike again today, but we're gonna talk a little more about cycling and about Amsterdam as a cycling capital of the world, or at least one of the two cycling capitals of the world, because there's another city, Copenhagen in Denmark, and it's always either or. Is it Amsterdam or is it Copenhagen? Both cities are full of bikes. Both are capitals. So, and to be honest, if you're saying it in the Netherlands, then of course most people are saying from outside are saying, "Oh, Amsterdam, that is a cycling capital." But to be honest, I think if you're asking locals, most locals maybe not choosing Amsterdam, but are choosing Utrecht. So another Dutch city, because of the number of bikes over there, and it's really a student city, and almost everyone over there is always going on a bicycle. So and hi Kay, also welcome. We're gonna start in 3 minutes from now. So and just to give you an idea where I'm sitting. So it is quite big. That's almost Amsterdam, that you have so much space around you. So I'm sitting on the middle part of the museum square. So just outside of the old city center. Behind us we have the Rijksmuseum, and you see the rest of the square behind me. It's quite beautiful. It's quite big, with several other museums. That's why we're calling it the Museum Square. And at the end over there, you have the concert hall, the Concertgebouw, beautiful 19th century building where they were playing a lot of classical concerts. So, okay. And Ronnie, yeah, that's true. That's one of the things that I can guarantee with tours in the Netherlands, that the weather is always different. You never know. You never know, and that makes it different. And Susan is saying, I've seen the multi-story bike parks in Denmark. Yeah, we also have things like that here in Amsterdam. So some of the biggest parking garages in the world for just for bikes, not for cars. And welcome Satyam also. And Susan is saying, The concert hall, fantastic acoustics. Yeah, that's true. It is famous for the acoustics. It has their own concert, their own orchestra that's playing there most of the time. There's also calling it Concertgebouw Orkest, so the orchestra of the concert hall, and that's quite famous. And they're playing, of course, a lot of times in Amsterdam, but they're also now going worldwide. And the people playing that orchestra are also not only Dutch people. That's literally people from all over the world. The best artists in instruments, in classical instruments, are or a lot of them are playing over here in Amsterdam. So, and I think is it time already or not? Just you have to help me a little with that because otherwise I think I'm hearing. Of course, I'm in Amsterdam. I'm hearing at the back over there um we have the beautiful museum, and I'm hearing some bells over there, and these bells are meaning that it is 7:30 right now. So welcome everyone, welcome Julie, you're the last one I'm naming, and then we're gonna officially start this tour. My name is Stefan. I'm a tour guide in the Netherlands and in Belgium. Today I'm in the city where I've been living the last, what is it now, almost 18 years of my life. 18 years already, so that's a long time. The city also where I lived the most part of my life, because I have been living in other Dutch cities, but it's now Amsterdam, and today I'm gonna take you through the city, and we're gonna do that on a bicycle. We're gonna do that on a and that's this bicycle today. It's a beautiful white one, as you can see, and this is what we call in Amsterdam. This is one of the most basic ones that you have. We're calling them granny bikes. Granny bikes. And why are they called granny bikes? That is because our grandparents, generations and generations before, they started cycling on bikes like this. So, and we have to go back and just doing a little history, and then, of course, as you know, on my tours, um, and then I'm gonna show you several other places. But I first want to go a little back in history, and that is the time of the crisis, 1920s, 1930s in Europe. And what happened in the crisis? Well, several things happened. We had two world wars, but one of the things is that also in the Netherlands there were a lot of people that lost their jobs. They didn't have a lot of money. They were not earning so much, and at the same time, it was also the part where the first cars came into the city. But for the majority of the people, they couldn't afford a car. So they were searching for a different form of transportation. And for generations and generations, and this city is 800 years old, generations and generations, what were the main forms of transportation? That was walking, of course, sailing in the canals, sometimes by boats that were towed by or by people or by horses. It was both possible. Most by horses, by the way, but sometimes even people were towing their boats alongside the canals. And then, of course, we had horses and carriages. That was the main form of transportation. But then, the start of the 20th century, something new came. Not only, of course, a car, but about the same time, also the bicycle became more and more popular as a cheaper form of transportation. And the first bicycles entered over here the city, and people were like, "Whoa, what is happening? What are these machines, and why are people going so fast?" Just by the power of cycling. And now the first bicycles were also a little different from the ones that we have right now. But yeah, newer and newer technology, newer models came on the market, and they became popular. And then what happened is that what we now know, Europe about um, if you're talking in Europe about the main country where they're producing all kinds of transportation forms, then we're talking about Germany. So our neighboring country, Germany, is nowadays still in Europe the biggest producer of cars. So also a lot of mainly the luxury cars like Mercedes and BMW and Porsche and several other Volkswagen, of course, not to forget. They're all from Germany. So Germany was quite big in steel. The first bikes were also made from steel. So what a lot of people don't know is that around the same time, Germany not only started to produce cars, but already a little before that, they were mass producing bicycles, more and more and more bicycles. And then what happened in the 30s, you had a period where economically it was not going so well, and we had a hyperinflation. There was a hyperinflation in Germany, and because of that hyperinflation in Germany, that did not happen in the Netherlands. So, but for Dutch people, it became extremely cheap to buy a German bicycle. So, what happened is that more and more Amsterdammers were starting to buy bicycles, use them over here. And the interesting thing is that now we can now just not see it, but here at the back, now we'll later go around it there at that, well, no, that side at the back. Oh, have to, that side at the back there was the first cycling school, because of course people didn't know how it worked. So we started the cycling school for people to make sure that they know how to handle a bicycle. So bit by bit, it became more and more popular. But then also something else happens, because after World War II, the car became more and more popular. And on this square where we're sitting right now, the museum square, and I'm just gonna stand up a little. I'm also gonna change the screen while talking so you can see a little more how huge this square is. Um, so you can see behind me the concert hall again. There's a lot of grass, so it is a really a main square. And this main square was originally made at the outside of the old city center, because here was space for building mainly this building here at the other side, the National Museum, the Rijksmuseum of the Netherlands. But not only that, the city at that time, the end of the 19th century, they wanted to build some more things. So they placed several museums over here, and this square here in the middle was used was used for a world exhibition. Now we now know world exhibitions. They in a lot of cities you have the remains of it. Now in Amsterdam, this square is one of the main things that's left from the world exhibition. So several of the other buildings were already there. They were of course used, and even nowadays we have over here the Van Gogh Museum. This gray building is the Van Gogh Museum. And there at the left side, you have the white building. It looks like a giant bathtub. And that is the Modern Art Museum. So it was a square, a beautiful square, used for all kind of expositions. So the World Exposition was just one. Um, and then in after World War II, the car became more and more popular. More people could afford it to buy a car, and they were like, "Yeah, it's raining a lot over here in the Netherlands, so let's go by car instead of on the bicycle or walking." So more and more cars came. So what happened with that square where we're now standing? They were making. Ah, let's build a road over it. So, and I have a picture from what we see over here, this building, and I'm now going to show you the picture. Look at this. So there was a big road. We were even calling it the shortest highway in the Netherlands. And that was going towards the Rijksmuseum. And even there was a road for cars under the tunnel of the Rijksmuseum. So the tunnel that we see over there. This is, by the way, a picture from the 1970s. So um, and exactly, Natalie, is an old bus. I think you maybe still recognize that. I've maybe as a little boy been also in buses like that. But yeah, this was a main road. This was a main road. And not only that, if you wanted to visit the Rijksmuseum, so in the 60s, 50s and 60s, what you were doing? Oh, you were just parking your car next to the building. And this is basically on the side over there. So just in front of the building, parking your car to go inside the museum. So that was for a long time. And then in the 1970s, more and more Amsterdammers were starting to say like, okay, this city over here is not built for cars. And then okay, maybe over here we still fit. It can still fit, but no, the city is built for bicycles and for walking. So shouldn't we bring the city back? So and just to, I have. Oh, if you, Trisha, if you remember that road here, I have another picture over here also to show you. It was one, two, three, four, five. So it was 2 lanes, both sides. Here you see a lot of taxis. So the 1970s, and then under here, now this is what we're seeing right now, the 2000s with the I Amsterdam sign still. So, but yeah, for a very long time, it all looked like that. And yeah, Amsterdammers were starting to say, like, okay, we should maybe change that. And I will tell you a little more about that later. And one of the things is one of the most famous protests that was over here in Amsterdam was a big protest by people on the bike. And what they were doing is they were coming here with their bikes and see again the building at the back, the same building, and they were just placing their bikes on the road, sitting there, maybe smoking some marijuana, because that was the same time, and they were literally blocking the roads just to show, okay, we should go back to a cycling city. And yes, also better for environment. So and yeah, that was one of the things why in the 90s, in the 1990s, the city of Amsterdam decided to give back the museum square to people, and just to remove the road. So the road is gone now over here, and we can now just enjoy sitting over here, having festivals over here. If our football team from Amsterdam is getting winning the championships, then a lot of times it is also celebrated over here. So a lot of things are happening. But there is a lot more to see about Amsterdam and the cycling culture. So what I'm gonna do, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my bicycle over here, and I have a bell, as you can see. So we're gonna cycle a little. So okay, I just have to go out of the grass first, and you maybe hear it already. My bicycle is making a lot of sound. There's a little piece that is not stitched completely, so it's making a little noise. So, but okay, there we go. Cycling, cycling, cycling. Yeah, so this square over here is one of the places that really changed a lot since the start, or it basically changed back to what it was before. And that's one of the interesting things is then if you have a square like this, then everyone wants to keep it. So nobody wants to change it back. And now the only road over here is this cycling lane. Because that's one of the other things nowadays, everywhere in Amsterdam, even in the city center, there are cycling lanes. So the position of the bike is more important than the position of a car. Okay, over here we have on the right side the car lane, on the left side the bike lane. Sorry for all the sound that I'm making. So what we're gonna do now, I'm gonna take you around the corner, and what we're gonna do is we're going through the Rijksmuseum. So that's one of the things. Okay, the cars lost it. They cannot go under there anymore. Also no buses anymore. It's nowadays only pedestrians and also a cycling lane. So, okay, we're nearby. And what we say is this is one of the most famous bike lanes that you can find in the Netherlands. Because what city is having a cycle lane under its main museum? So, but we're gonna cycle under it. And you can see I'm not the only one, there are a lot more people. By the way, okay, a little side story when we were here, because the Rijksmuseum is now reopened, it is restored. It's now reopened for about 10 years, and the 10 years before it was closed for restoration. So it was a very big restoration, where they completely redesigned the inside. And the city of Amsterdam asked a very famous architect to do the whole redesign. So um, he did that. He made all kind of plans, and then the thing is that this architect, he was from Portugal, and he thought like, okay, we have this beautiful tunnel over here. Why wouldn't we make this tunnel over here as the entrance into the museum? I mean, it's quite beautiful that you have the high ceiling. This is perfect as the main entrance to the museum. So um, he added that plan, he designed that plan, was getting it to the local government and even the national government, because also the national government was also paying part of the price for it. But the thing is, people were very enthusiastic about it in the government. The only thing is they forgot to ask the Amsterdammers. So what happened is that first it was just some critical letters, some critical letters in the newspapers, like how is it possible that our bike lane will be removed because one architect somewhere from Southern Europe has different plans. He is not from Amsterdam. He doesn't know our culture, because it's our culture that we cycle everywhere. So, and this is the main road. This is one of the main roads in this area, from people coming from the south going to the city center. And Amsterdammers, they don't want to go around. They always want to go the shortest way. And if the shortest way is going through the museum, then that should be the way. So in the end, after again some protests, uh, we still have our cycling lane just through the museum. And by the way, on one of the pictures I was showing you earlier, I was showing you a parking spot that was exactly over here, because the statue is still the same. So, but only nowadays it's not allowed to park your car here anymore if you're going to the museum. Okay, and if you're never learned to ride a bike, then of course you are welcome. And I saw another question before while we're going through the museum. Now the main entrance, by the way, is just here on the side. Um, no, Amsterdam has always been a liberal city, and also women were getting the opportunity to cycle. So it was not only men that you could find on the bike; it was also women. Okay, and now in the meantime, we are here at the other side of the museum. It's maybe even more impressive from this side, because this is the side looking into the city. But in the meantime, it is green. So I'm just going to the other side. And here again, you can see this road over here. The cars only have this tiny middle lane in the middle, but the right and the left is just for people on the bike. So cars are just allowed one way. And then look at this. We even have over here a roundabout. Have to be a little careful because there are a lot of people. But this is a roundabout over here just for bikes. So the bikes coming from all over the different parts. Oh, this woman is even calling someone. So let's go over the roundabout and let's see. Okay, there we go. There we go. Yeah, and then for example, also a road like this, you can see there's a bike lane on the right side, there's a bike lane at the other side. In the middle part, there are the tram tracks. And yeah, there are still some people that can come here with their cars, but that's only for people who are living or working in the buildings here at the left side. Other people are not allowed to come with their cars here anymore. This is one of the examples from removing the cars as much as possible out of your city. So, and of course, there are differences. Natalie is saying that there are, of course, differences. So it's not that everywhere in the Netherlands that we have the same, but it's mainly the bigger cities where the bicycle is a lot more important than the car. So I'm just now going over one of the main squares called the Leidseplein. Leidse Square. Oh, let's do, okay, one little side story. I like to tell this story over here. So, because over here on the left side we have the old, the old prison of Amsterdam. This is, by the way, the prison where also the Frank family was brought. At the moment that they were captured out of hiding, they were brought over here. So it's an old prison nowadays. It's not used as a prison anymore. And what happened somewhere in the 90s, they were asking another architect, this was a Dutch architect, by the way, to build like a sort of an entrance into this little square. This is the entrance to the square at the back, the Max Euweplein High, the Max Euweplein to be precise. And this man, he made a design a little like the uh, like the Portuguese architect of the Rijksmuseum, and then it was the local government who was saying like, yeah, sorry, no, your plan is too expensive, so we're not going to do that. So you have to redo your plan. And that did not happen one time. That did not happen two times. That happened three different times after each other. That he made a plan, and then again it was like, yeah, no, no, sorry, that's we don't have enough money for that. You should go back, design it again, etc., etc. So, in the end, you can maybe imagine that this man, he was he was furious. He was furious, and he was thinking like, yeah, how can I do something with that? And what he did is, if you look over there, I don't know if someone from you can read some Latin, but then I'm just gonna zoom in a little. He placed a text on it. He placed a text, Homo sapiens, nou, I think that you know what that is. Homo sapiens non urinat in ventum. So, Homo sapiens non urinat in ventum. Hi. Uh, and maybe some of you can already sort of recognize some of the words. Homo sapiens, humanity, non urinat, urinate, non urinat, inventum. And inventum, that is against the wind. This is also, by the way, for men, a little more recognizable than for women. But it's basically saying humankind should not pee against the wind. So, and that was, he just placed it over here, and the thing is, nobody is speaking Latin. So they built it, and then later on they realized what he placed over there. So don't piss into the wind. Exactly. So that's how he felt as he was pissing against the wind while designing a building. Okay. You're always thinking that Amsterdam is a city of flowers in the tulip season, but look at this. It is later in the year. Everywhere there are flowers. And Susan, yeah, I can imagine that you could not believe that. Okay, I'm just going on maybe another tour. I will talk a little more about this new statue over here. In the meantime, this is, by the way, something else. Okay, we see over here a crosswalk, and officially, no, it's okay. We're seeing a crosswalk, and officially, we have to wait until people are going to the other side. So, oh, and this guy wanted to show a wheelie to impress us. No, officially you have to stop for that. But the thing is that Amsterdammers normally don't stop. So if they're on the bike, like over here, so you see the people are now. It's because that I'm very gentle that they keep on walking, because mainly the tourists, are always stopping because they think I will uh, I will keep on cycling. And yeah, they're right. So, cycling city. Okay, and then over here it's still the same road, a little different at the other side. You can see again bikes, trams, walking, but hardly any car. Also over here, only if you are living over here or if you have to be here, then you can come. If not, don't even try. Don't even try. And you may be wondering, like, okay, don't you have in Amsterdam people that are relying on cars that can or maybe cannot walk, maybe they're old? Yes, of course, we have that. We have that. So But that's the exception. That's the exception. And what we nowadays have in Amsterdam that we're saying, okay, 95% of the people can still walk or can still cycle, so they don't need a car, so they don't need a parking spot next to their house. So it's a completely different mentality. So, but how did we get here? How did we get here? So I have to go again back to the 1960s, 1970s. The car became more and more popular, and several of the streets of Amsterdam were completely redesigned only for cars. Only for cars. And yeah, people were seeing that. It was the time of the hippies. It was time of flower power, of Amsterdam being the city where a lot of people were coming to smoke marijuana in the parks. And yeah, that was of course a little different. These people had different ideas than the car lovers. And but yeah, how to change these kind of things? So how can you change that? Because on the same time, and that's also something not only in Amsterdam but that's worldwide. There's one thing that people love their cars and they love their parking spots and they will not give up that so easily. So what happened is they were using these groups of protesters. Even a new political party started there, and what they were using is they were saying, if we're looking at the numbers of kids in the Netherlands that are killed every year by cars, that is getting to 500 per year, just because our places are not safe. So they started the campaign called Stop, Stop the Child Murder. Stop the Child Murder. To make sure uh, or in the hope that people were thinking like, okay, yeah, kids should not be the victim of us Amsterdammers wanting to drive our cars. And that was the right way of starting their movement. So more and more people were like, yeah, okay, it's maybe getting a little too far. We have too many cars, and there are also too many kids that are dying in the traffic. And just to give you an idea, it was 500 in the 1970s, 500 a year. Nowadays, what is it, 40, 50 years later, it is about 150. So it's a lot less. And to be honest, it is nowadays, the last 3, 4 years, going up again, and it's mainly because of our electrical bikes, because they're more dangerous and people are going faster. So, but yeah, in the end, it worked. And also, an interesting thing is that there was a political party coming here in the government, and they were calling themselves the kabouters or the dwarf movement, and they had all kind of interesting ideas. One of their most famous ideas was the white bike plan, where they were placing all over the city white bikes like the one that I have right now. That's why I took my white bike today, not knowing that it was rumbling so much. Um, and they started placing these bicycles as a sort of a share system. So you could just grab a bike somewhere, use it, and then leave it at the other side of the city. Or if you were going from your house to work or to the supermarket, name it, you could just grab a white bike. And that plan, they tried it. In the end, it didn't work out because they were free to use. And yeah, after a while, more and more white bicycles were found in other parts of the Netherlands and even in the rest of the world because people loved it. Oh, a free bike, let's bring it home. So, but the idea of the usage of the childs and the number of kids that were dying every year, in the traffic. That was the main factor, and bit by bit, the government started to change too. And of course, in the end, we are our government. So they started projects to change or maybe to change the city back to how it was before. And They started in the 70s, we're now 50 years further, and we're still not there. But that dream, there is a sort of a dream of at least a car-free city center. It's coming back every now and then. So the last 10 years, our local government, the biggest political party, is a very green and liberal political party, and they won the elections 2 times in a row with their plan to make the whole city center car free. And I that sounds worse than it is, because it will never it will never be completely car free. In the meantime, we're, by the way, going over the canals. No, it will never be completely car free, but a little from what I said before, they decided, like, okay, only people that really need a car can still get a permit to park. So that is the way how we're doing this. So you just, if you want to live here in the city center of Amsterdam, you can buy a house. Until about 10 years ago, you could quite easily get a parking permit. Yeah, you had to wait a little till one came available. But in the end, you could get your parking permit. What they now changed is that everyone that's nowadays wanting to live in Amsterdam is not getting a permit anymore. So you just don't get it. So yeah, you maybe want to live in one of these beautiful canal houses, but you will not get a parking permit. So that means every year people are moving out, people, for sometimes, are dying. So every year about 1/7 of the parking lots are freed up. 1/7 to 1/8. So bit by bit they are removing the parking lots. So bit by bit the city is getting rid of the cars. And every year they're removing nowadays about 2,500 parking spots. So and we're now we're now also going over a part of the canal where you can see that on the side there's a lot of green. And that green is because they found out when they were checking the keys, I just learned the keys, in about 5 years ago, that a lot of the keys are in a very bad condition. And why are they in very bad condition? Because no restoration, no maintenance for too much long time, for a very long time. Plus also, the thing is, here on the side of the road, you can see it, there are cars and cars and cars and cars. And these cars are basically a little too heavy for our side of the road, for our case, that were built in the 17th century, not to park your car over there. So what the city did is that on a lot of locations, they placed these green parts, like what we were just seeing, in front of the water to protect the water line as a step number one. And at the same time, they were saying, like, okay, that's also good. It's also good to do this. Oh, this bike is almost in the canal. I need my magnet, I think. No, so what they basically said, we're gonna remove the cars from the case because it is because it's too dangerous. So, for example, the part over here on the side, they placed already the green on the side, and in the coming 2 to 3 years, what they will do is all the cars will be removed. So there are no parking spots left over here. And by the way, look how beautiful this canal is, with some more beautiful flowers. This is Amsterdam in summertime. People sitting outside. And yeah, what are we gonna do then with all these open spaces? Placing terraces, having parks where kids can play, but a lot more. So basically what we're trying to do is we're giving back the city to giving back the private parking spots back to the whole community. So everyone can now sit over there, can enjoy the case, and have a good time, and not just that it's a parking spot from your neighbor or from yourself. And in the meantime, look how beautiful it is. Nice ship that's just passing us. And then, okay, over here on the left side, this is they're gonna do it. But here on the right side, we can see a step further. They're not completely ready yet, but we can sort of see how this will turn. So here we have a new quay. They is completely renewed. And it's also, you can see the maximum speed on the rest of the canals is all 30 kilometers. It's going back to 15, and it is an area for kids to play. So if you are coming over here with your car, that's only for people that want to bring something, then you have to, then you cannot go faster than 15. And um, what you also see is that they removed most of the parking spots. So to be honest, at this moment the trees are still missing. The trees will be there will be there soon again. Most probably somewhere next year they're gonna plant them. And Leslie, that's a good question. How do people with mobility problems manage? Yeah, that's a little the same. There is a car over here, as you can see. That is, so cars can still go over here. And yeah, maybe in the street there are one or two people with mobility problems, but they are the exception. They're not the norm. So basically, okay, we maybe are gonna design over here 2 or 3 parking spots for the people that really have mobility problems, but all the other people, they're fit enough to take a bike, take some other form of transportation to go to their car, and they can park their car outside of the city center. So it is a different mentality. It's mainly the mentality that we're changing. And the interesting thing is that now this is now here for half a year, and people love it. People really love it that they can sit over here, that kids can play on the streets again, very safe. Um, Now by the way, you now see all these yellow signs. That is because they're gonna change some things here again. So they're gonna remove the temporary places for the bikes, for the bicycles, and make that a little neater. And what you see over here, for example, so these people just placed a table with some chairs on the sides. So you can see people sitting on the side of the canal. Kids are playing. These ladies a little further over here are sitting, enjoying the last part of the sun. So this is, with of course a good glass of wine. Prost. Um, so this is the dream of an almost carless city. And of course, it takes time, and it takes a lot more time before all the canals are looking like this. And yes, we will still have cars because we still have to deliver stuff, for example. But it is a lot less than it was before. Plus, your own car, you cannot park it in front of your house anymore. You just have to go to um, to a street somewhere else. Um, but let me wait. In the meantime, it's also beautiful. It's a beautiful summer evening. I'm always forgetting it while concentrating on the stories. Ah, okay. Here's, by the way, one of the water logs with a big tourist boat, several tourist boats even, several little boats. The Dome Church of Amsterdam. This is the first canal where we are, but I'm gonna take you back because I wanna also show you a little part of the Jordaan area. Oh, sorry. So imagine things like this. No more cars, just people walking like what it is right now. People sitting outside, enjoying their time. And are e-bikes allowed? Yeah, e-bikes are allowed. Yeah, yeah. That's basically, they are the same, but with a maximum speed of only 25. 25, yeah. The other part was even 15. But on the general roads, it's just a maximum speed of 15, not more than that. Okay, well, sorry for my rumbling bike. Hopefully you don't hear it too much. Oh, it's so beautiful over here. Here at the other side, by the way, another example. So here on the right side of the canal, there's still the cars parked, but at the other side, you see there's some green. People are sitting, enjoying. So this is the future of Amsterdam. Okay, wait, let's go. And I was starting this tour on the museum square where I was showing that little part of a highway. And the interesting thing is that little highway was the first part of a big plan to make a big highway around the Amsterdam city center. And they were asking in the 1950s some American engineers to make a ring highway, a big ring highway directly at the site of the outside of the city center. And that little part of the Rijksmuseum is still what we can see from that. And in the end, that plan didn't go through. Although we can here on this side also see part of it. You see there at the end there's a higher road over there. There is about 300, 400 meters of the highway that they started building, removing canal houses to make a big highway. But there were so many protests against that in the end that didn't work out. So thanks to Amsterdammers, thanks to all these hippies. Oh, I have to wait now for 3 more cars. 2, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, there we go. Thanks to all these hippies that were protesting, that were throwing their cars on the streets, and uh, all kind of other ideas that they were doing. So, oh, I'm still zoomed in. I see. Sorry. Woo. Okay, one moment. Okay, over here. Look how beautiful this is. We're now also restoring this canal a little with that big yellow signs. But this is one of the most beautiful parts of the city. With here on the side, one of my favorite cafes. Café Papeneiland is it called. Already there since 1641. Since 1641 a cafe. And then over here on the right we have the Prinsengracht. And the Prinsengracht, the Canal of the Princes, that's the longest canal of Amsterdam. And you see the flags over here and these are the flags that love freedom, being you, and that's because this month is the Gay Pride month. And at the start of August, there's also the big Gay Pride, but the 3 weeks in advance even, there are festivities. So there was earlier today a Pride walk. There are all kind of queer walks, all kind of other things. So, and that's only, that's every year in July until the start of August. So, and if you want to go to the Gay Pride, then the boats are going, because the Pride, or the big Pride over here is not walking, but it's on the water, and that's going over this canal. That's why the flags are over here. Okay, you see the weather is so good. There are a lot of people sitting at my favorite bar. Right. Okay, whoa. Okay, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna show you some more examples of how the city changed. So we're now here in the Jordan, and in the Jordan area, with the beautiful northern church here on the side. Now, the Jordan area used to be the poorest part of the city, and there were a lot of canals over here in the Jordan. And what happened that in the 19th century, we decided to fill up most of the canals. Like, for example, over here, you can see the street is a little wider. They filled up the canals for hygiene because there were, again, too many kids dying, but then for hygiene reasons. So they decided to fill up the canal. And yeah, that was in the 19th century, and in the 20th century, what happened is that places like this turned up into parking spots for cars. Like, for example, over here. You can see the middle part. The middle part that used to be the canal is now just a parking spot for cars. This is the change in the 50s and the 60s. But now there is a different, of course, a different mentality. So what we're doing is bit by bit, is that we're turning these kind of old filled up canals back to not canals, although there are some plants, but into greener open spaces where you can play. And I'm now gonna show you one. I have to go a little further into the Jordan. Ooh, it's so lovely to see so many people outside and enjoying the summer. We don't have that too many times. So then we have over here the next filled up canal, the Lindengracht. Here you can still see it in the name. And the Lindengracht is not the same as the street before. So you can see parking spots for cars. So also we're gonna change, but it's not changed yet. But the next one, we changed. So let's go there. Woo. I hope you're enjoying it on my bike go through Amsterdam. Now the famous Jordan area. One of my favorite parts of Amsterdam, by the way. And then we go to the Willemstraat. People are eating ice cream. You can maybe also imagine that because it's warm. The palm streets, and then we have the palm gracht. And if you've done tours with me before, then you know that the word gracht means canal. Gracht, canal. Okay, and the palm gracht is the new idea. So see the same part in the middle. We have a beautiful example already over here. The same part here in the middle. We see some place, some green. There's a a place where kids can play. Not only on this side, but also the other side. Here they play some terraces. They play some terraces, some more things for kids to play, and you can see that. Wait, it's gonna see people over here that are living in this area. What they do is they use. Look here in the middle part. Look here in the middle part. People are sitting outside, facing some tables, having wine and food, just to have the street for themselves again. So, but you can also play some table tennis over here, or ping pong, or however you're calling it. So, and you see, there's still some spots for cars, some also for shareable cars, but the majority of the spots is just removed. And they even have some things for insects over here on the side, and sometimes growing their own vegetables and things. So this is another, I think, very nice example how to get uh, cars out of the city. And then you're maybe wondering that, okay, there are a lot of people living over here. Where are they parking their cars? Now, what they're doing, or what the city of Amsterdam did in the last 10 years, is building bit by bit big parking garages outside of the city center. Mainly, by the way, I'm just gonna mainly, by the way, underground. So the cars are also out of view. So there are several parts, also not so far from here. They built a big parking garage, and that means that a lot of people that can now still park over here in the coming 2 years. They're not allowed to park here anymore. So in the two canals that we were seeing before, and then they're gonna do something similar like what we have over here. And then the only spots that will left are the spots for people with disability problems, for example. So, and I know that, and it's good, Nat, that you're saying that many cities have tried it, um, and it is a struggle. It is a struggle also for Amsterdam, and it took 50 years now, and in 50 years we're still not ready. We're still not ready. But the interesting thing is that at first there was a lot of protest also against these kind of plans, and that's of course there's still people that really think like we should be like the rest of the world. but the majority nowadays of the inhabitants of Amsterdam are supporting this and are really happy that more and more parts of the city are gonna look like this. So, and just to give you some more examples, I have over here, I have a, oh shit, sorry. I have a picture of the plan I was talking about that was made in the 50s. It's saying Amsterdam in the year 2000. And you can maybe see it. Amsterdam in the year 2000. And the interesting thing is that over here on the in the corner there's even the Rijksmuseum. So this should be the highways next to the Rijksmuseum, just going through the city. So to make it a city with like an American city with a downtown, and then with like big highways all around. This was the plan. Good. Thank God. I can say only 400 meters and 200 meters on the or 300 meters on the museum square that was built, and the rest not. And just to give you some more ideas about some more pictures of Amsterdam in the 1970s. This is another picture of Amsterdam in the 1970s. Roads like this we don't have anymore. Nothing, nothing. And then another street not so far away from here called the Haarlemmerdijk. I have over here two. So we have the example of 1971. You see cars, 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 cars. And you have 2020. This is what it is right now. So there's a lot more space first for people to walk, because that is still, of course, the main form of transportation, but there's also a bike lane in the middle. And the thing is, bicycles are using so less, so no, not so much space, so you can have a lot more people. And then the last example over here, this is, by the way, the main street when you're getting from Amsterdam Central Station into the city center, called it Rokken. And on what is it, your left side, you can see it with cars, and on the right side you see it's still busy. There are a lot of people walking now, and there are trams, and there's still two lanes for cars, but not as it was before. So that is some of the progress that has been made since the 1970s. So that's what I wanted to show you. What I wanted to show you today. And I'm always saying to people, come back in Amsterdam in about 15 years from now, and you will see several of the plans. I showed you a little part next to the canal. I showed you the Palmgracht over here where I'm sitting right now. More and more parts of the city are changed to areas like this, but they're doing it gradually, because also it costs a lot of money to redesign all these streets. But you can see bit by bit how the city is changing, and it's one of the reasons why, of course, also a lot of people wanna live in the city, and even older people. That's the interesting thing, is you can maybe also imagine that a lot of the older people are quite fit, because they're used to cycle, they used to walk a lot. But of course, there are people that cannot walk, or have disability problems, and for them, we also nowadays have all these very tiny. Exactly, Lucas. That's one of the parkings. They have these very tiny little electrical cars. So very mini cars, and I don't see one over here right now when we're sitting. So that's one of the things that you're seeing more for people with the disability problems. So they still have it a little more luxury, but it's not a car. It's just like on the size of, you can have 4 of these little electrical cars on the size of one Tesla. So just to give you an idea. So exactly, smart, but even smaller than the Mercedes Smart that we all know. It's a half of the size of that. So yeah, so I hope you enjoyed this little different tour. I've been telling a lot. I've been showing a lot about that, still a dream that's still alive, to that Amsterdam is one day a car-free city. So what I say, come here in 5 years, come here in 10 years, come here in 20 years from now, and you will see the city changing. And then maybe one day we hardly have any cars, and we're thinking about it like, okay, what was that? What was that form of transportation from the past? We're all cycling over here. We're all fit. We're all healthy, etc. So thank you for joining today. I hope you enjoyed it on my rambling white bicycle. I hope to see you again. The next tour, by the way, is on Tuesday, so that's just after the weekend. And then I will go to, by the way, another city with a lot of bicycles, and that's Bruges in Belgium. And Bruges in Belgium, they see that as the cycling capital in Belgium. So, but there's a lot more to see because it's a beautiful medieval city. So I'm happy to be back over there. So I will do that one, and after that, I have to plan one or two more tours because in the coming 2 weeks, I will go to some more locations in and outside the Netherlands. So just keep an eye on my channel, and hopefully you enjoy it. And there's of course also a lot on this. This tour itself will be also there for at least the coming 2 days. So thank you again for joining, and I hope to see you again another time. Bye bye.